Hi, we're Piers and Andy from Me and My Golf, and we're talking about strategy and planning. Do you have a plan? That's the first thing we need to ask you, because if you haven't, you are missing out and you're definitely not going to get the best out of your rounds of golf. Now, Andy, if we had the dream scenario from a planning point of view, what would we want to do?
Well, look, the best players in the world, what do? They're planning their strategy well in advance. Obviously, they've got the advantage of playing the course and going around with their caddies, making notes and everything. But if you're a member of a golf club or you play a golf course regularly, you have that advantage as well. But if you don't and you're going to a golf course, then the ideal scenario is you're going to pre-plan your game. You're going to look at where the danger is on the golf course, what club selection you're going to use off the tee, and plot your way around the golf course. Obviously on the day can vary with environment, but if you're going there with a strategy, it's definitely going to help us.
Yeah, okay, and that's the first thing. We'll come back to that in a moment. The other way that you can get around, obviously, the golf course then when you're playing is by just making sure you have a strategy when you get on the tee box. So get on the tee box and work out a strategy. And then if you've got a second shot on a par 5, for instance, that you just can't quite reach the green, again, figure out what the best plan is that you can have from that. Right, now look, so the Tour Pro strategy, let's just imagine that we're at home now, okay, and we're planning this out. So the 18th hole here at Reunion in Orlando, Florida, and it's a par 4, 401 yards. So what we're going to do, Andy, I'm going to give you your strategy. I'm going to be your caddy.
You.
So what we're going to do in the GPS here is we're going to figure out where we want you to hit it. Now, if you hit it 250 yards, you're going to be hitting it in the bunkers left and right here. So I'm kind of thinking that you're a pretty long hitter.
I can carry it just past 250.
We can get it past 250. So you've only really got to get it going 267-ish to get it past those bunkers. So I'm going to give you a little bit of leeway there, and we're going to go around about 278, 280. Now, the good thing with this as well, we can see what part of the fairway we want to do. So we're looking at it here, we're thinking, well, let's look at a driver, and we're going to be hitting it on the left-hand side. So the beauty with this is if I just come out of this here and I go into my notes, I can create a note ready for this. So I've got driver, left-hand side. Perfect. And now, as simple as that now, save that. So now, straight away now, I have a note when I come back to the golf course now. I'm looking at it very quickly. I know you're going to hit a driver down the left-hand side.
Exactly. It just saves any thinking time. You're on the golf course then, you look at your notes and you go, right, okay, I know I've planned that out. It makes the decision making a lot easier, doesn't it?
It does indeed, it does indeed. So are you ready?
I'm ready to go, yeah.
So we're going to get you hitting driver?
Driver left-hand side, yeah.
Are you happy with my strategy that I've given you?
I'm going to trust you, Piers, for the first time ever.
All right.
And see if I can hit a driver down the left-hand side for you.
Is that the first time ever, really? Is that the first time?
I think it is, Piers.
It takes an app for you to trust me for the first time.
Okay, so get myself set up there, left-hand side of the fairway there. See if I can pull this one off.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, look, guys, that's a great Tour Pro strategy. Let's go to a different scenario for in-play planning. So we have the perfect scenario here on the 17th fairway. We've got 280 yards left, Andy. Now, you can't reach this hole.
Maybe the driver off the deck, but I'm not going to risk that.
You're not even going to do that. But what happens is to a lot of golfers in a situation like this, they can't reach the hole. The mindset is to get the golf ball down the hole as far as possible. Now, the problem with that, Andy, it means hitting your longest club, maybe a driver off the deck or a 3-wood. And with these bunkers here, there's a good chance you could go in those bunkers. So it's a harder shot to hit. And then if you do execute it well, you're actually hitting it down there into an area that you may be not so good at. So let's say you do hit it to that 50 to 40 yard pitch shot with a green which is surrounded by bunkers. That suddenly is a hard shot for people, isn't it?
It is, and look, I think the majority of people, as we know, Piers, they won't really think too much about this shot. They just sort of think, well, let's just get it close. It's a long way, let's get it as close as I can. And you really need to think about your strengths. Are you better from 60 yards, 70 yards, 100 yards than you are from 30? And if you are, then maybe you should be looking at thinking about getting it to that 100-yard mark instead of that. So I think thinking ahead and thinking about what you need next is the most important thing in this situation.
Okay, so let's bear that in mind then with you now. What's your favourite number? You can't reach, so what's your favourite number?
I would like 75 yards in from
70
here.
to
That'll be a good distance for me.
Okay, so look, let's have a look, see what we've got here, because we need to figure out, we've got a couple of obstacles that we need to do, think of our plan. We've got some bunkers here which are kind of sort of in this sort of 170 mark, so we want to make sure we get past those if we can. So getting past those bunkers, we're talking around about 208, 208, 207, and that's going to leave you with a 71-yard shot.
Okay.
into the green. You'd
I'll
be pretty happy
I'll
with
be
that,
happy
yeah?
with that, yeah.
Okay, so 207 yards. What club have you got?
I've got a 5-iron.
5-iron. Okay, so you're going to hit 5-iron now into that gap there, and hopefully leave yourself that 70-yard.
And it's
pitch.
strange that we've got a long way to go here, but it seems strange that I'm going with the 5-iron. Other golfers might, in this situation, be going with a different club, but it's sometimes maybe difficult to convince yourself to not get the long one out there, Pierce.
Okay, let's see you do
Okay,
it.
so let's see if I can get myself set up in the right situation here and leave myself that 70-yarder.
Yeah, very nice. And look, the good thing with this is now that isn't that hard a shot for you to hit. If I put a 3-wood in your hands there, definitely there's a lot more margin for error.
Of course there is.
And then you may even have a harder shot when you actually do hit that good shot down into the fairway, if indeed you were able to do that.
Of course I would.
So look, guys, make sure whether it's a Tour Pro strategy or an in-game plan, just make sure you have that plan. It's going to reduce those scores.